Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Mikey. That is Tommy. And we're on the Buffalo Fan Base Network.
That's
I landed that one right. I landed that one right.
You did.
I'm not used to doing Friday nights on the Fan Base Network.
I know. To the highest degree to the TOP from the 313.
That's right.
On my side. It's my main man. My toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. Happy Friday to you, brother.
Happy Friday. Yeah, it's one of those weeks. It's kind of the dead spot, of what's going on. Pro days are over, combine's over. It's kind of a lot of things going on with the draft and a lot of smoke screens. The NFL was it the coaches meeting or was it the owners meeting?
I think the coaches were involved, but owners.
The owners meeting, right? That's what they call it.
Yeah.
They all get together. The owners meeting was this last week.
I believe so.
Some rule changes that came out.
There was.
Some rules got down. Some rules pushed out to the next owners meeting.
Yep. I actually have the rules. Let me pull them up since we're on the topic. Where is that? Let me
let me ask you this question because the chat jumps right into it. Robert and Scott said, what's your take on this tush push ban? And what do you think about McDermott as one of the leaders to get rid of it?
Yeah, odd, right? Really odd, considering we run it a lot.
We don't really because they don't put anybody super strong behind Josh to push him.
Well, we don't run it like Philly runs it, but we run and even he admitted we run a version of it.
Yeah.
So I get it.
We run more quarterback sneak than actual tush push.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, I haven't seen players get hurt. So if they're worried about players getting hurt, I haven't really seen that to like go, hey, man, players are, this is dangerous. You got to take that out of the game. So if that's what they're debating, and if there's injuries, I could see that. But there's not really any proof that this is a dangerous move or a dangerous thing to do, and you need to be taken out of the NFL. Listen, the Philadelphia Eagles did it right. They mastered it. It works. And teams just don't like it. And teams have tried to copy it like us to do their own version. And for me, look, keep it in. I don't see a problem. I really don't. What is the problem? Like, where do you see the problem? I don't see it. Figure it out then. Figure it out on defense.
I'm not overly fond of Josh doing it because it only takes once for him to get hurt. But and Josh is crazy enough to jump over the pile if he gets stuffed. But it's one of those things that it's great. But I don't have a problem with it.
Right. Yeah. I don't see why it's even I'll be honest. I don't even see why it's a big deal. Like I said, once again, if there was injuries or, guys constantly getting their ACLs, you know what I mean? Like, fine. I'm with it, but that's not the case at all. I don't even know why this is up for debate. It's something that can't be, that teams are having a tough time defending, and now other teams want to get it stopped. Like, it doesn't make no sense.
It sounds like a lot, because there's a lot of like offensive guys like McVay and people like that and LaFleur and that crew that don't want it. And it sounds like, from what I heard on ESPN, it's like a 50-50, like political, people trying to lobby other people to come their way. They need 24 votes. I'm not sure they get 24 votes.
I don't think so either. Because like I said, they have to have an argument. Why? Like, why do you want this gone? And I really think the reasoning is the injuries. But there's really no injuries. So I don't really. I mean, not that I've seen. I could be wrong.
Pushed out.
What's the reasoning behind the tush push then, that they want it gone? Like, what is their? They have to have a reasoning, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not in there. So rugby is a version of football in a way. I mean, what's the problem with it? I don't see a problem. I honestly,
laterals are rugby play too.
Exactly. So chat, let us know how you feel about the tush push. Like I said, I have no problem with it. And that would be like any other different type of play that works for a certain team. And then all of a sudden, every team's like, oh, you can't do that play because this, like, then it's starting to take the fun out of football. Listen, Philadelphia mastered it. They're good at it. Then you got to figure it out. Just like kind of like when the Dolphins came out with the Wildcat. Even though the Wildcat, Mikey, was there forever, kind of like the tush push, been around for a while. Just Philly decided to use it more, and they ran it well. But the Wildcat was been around forever, and remember that? It was like Miami did it the best. Teams copied it. They weren't as good as Miami did it. And then eventually defense is what happened, Mikey. Defense eventually they learn, okay, all right, this is how we control it. Stop, slow it down, stop it. That shit's barely ran now. So listen, man, it's just something, and I also think that is only going to be good for so long in Philly, because eventually their offensive line is going to move on, or you know what I mean. The same guys are going to be there. That will be, and also defenses might eventually figure a way. Yeah, okay, we're going to get our defense a little bit lower, or whatever they got to do.
Dude, Kansas City tried everything to stop it, and they couldn't. But Robert's kind of on to something.
Yeah,
it's that it's so effective because Hurts can squat 600.
Well, that helps. That helps too.
It also helps that their average offensive line is like 340 pounds, and they're just maulers. Like, and
they've they're built for it, and they've probably worked on it a long time. I mean, their offensive coach, our offensive line coach,
they also put some strong motherfuckers behind them to push it.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't use people like Khalil Shakir,
right?
That's to push
even James Cook, right? What are you doing?
Put a big fullback or offensive lineman behind Josh to shove him.
Didn't we have Curtis Samuel one time do it? It was terrible.
Dave Davis
didn't even get anything.
To try to do it.
Or at least put, like you said, like, remember we made the joke, like, put fucking Jordan Phillips back there,
right?
You know what I'm just saying? Like, he's huge. Yeah. There's no rule. Is there a rule for that? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I've seen where they put in like Sue in the game. I've seen like big, like the fridge.
Yeah.
like why not? Okay. Y'all want to keep the turn? All right. That's what I would do. Forget trying to take it away. Okay. Create your own version, but make it better. Make it unique. All right, we're gonna fucking put this guy in. We're gonna put our 400-pound motherfucker in there, right?
Like behind Josh to shove him.
Yeah, exactly.
As Robert says, we use Kincaid in the playoffs. Like, Kincaid's not a blocker.
Exactly, he's not even a blocker.
He's a big wide receiver.
And you can see some of them don't even do it right, like that we've tried this year. They're like going the wrong way, or not even barely pushing them. I remember sometimes the announcers would be like, "Well, you didn't even really affect them." It was all Josh there.
Josh takes care of most of it.
Right.
Yeah. Kelsey didn't like it because, they all land on top of him as the center.
I know Jordan Phillips had a thing about it, and I did like what Jordan Phillips said about it. I think you remember this when Jordan Phillips and I think it was Kelsey got into when Jordan Phillips kept jumping off sides, trying to stop it. Remember? And I think he hit Hurts early or something like that. Something happened, and he's like, "Well, look, I'm trying to time it because this is almost an impossible play to defend." And I get that in a way, but you can't be mad at the player then trying to time it too.
Same thing with the linebacker with Washington, kept jumping over.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The Chiefs were timing us on ours, and I remember Romo. Was it Romo? They were saying, why don't they hard count? Remember? Because they were going right away.
Right. Or go right one time.
Exactly. Like I don't get why. I don't know. I'm not going to go back to that. It's old news, but I don't understand that whole series was a disaster. It was we
don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, just a total disaster. Hey, what's up, Weston? How you doing, brother? But yeah, let's go through that list of some of the things that since we're talking on this right now. Let me get to that. Okay, so here's some of the NFL rules that got in place. Approved from the Eagles to give each team a guaranteed possession in overtime during the regular season. Previously, a team with the first possession could win in overtime if it scored a touchdown. The rule change aligns the philosophy with the previous change to the postseason overtime, except regular season overtime will remain limited in 10 minutes. So how do you like that rule? So now both doesn't matter. Regular season playoffs, both teams get an opportunity.
I like it because there was players that didn't realize the postseason rules changed.
Yeah, which you should have. I'll be honest with you. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's your job. You should know what the rules are.
and shame on the coaches too if they didn't tell them. Like, it's their job to inform the players of these rule changes. Like, hey guys, right? Like, just a heads up. But I like it. I do. I've always felt that it should be that way, though. Forever it was always that way, and some traditionalists like baseball, you got to keep it the way it's always been. I think some change in every sport is needed and okay, and I think this one is fine. Like I'm okay with that. It gives both teams an opportunity to possess the ball, and it makes it more fun for the audience, really, too. People at the games, like, okay, all right, we still have the opportunity. It's like, think about it like baseball, right? You got your top and bottom ninth inning, right? You still the team in the bottom of the ninth still has the opportunity, right? Like even in extra innings, you still have the opportunity. The other team still has the opportunity to bounce back and win. So I don't mind it. It makes it more fun too, because now teams will have to go, okay, let's say they scored a touchdown. Do we go for a 2-point conversion? Right, to force the other team to go, right?
To go for two.
Or right, do we just play it safe and the other team goes, fuck it, we're going, like, it makes it more, I think, as a fan, a football fan.
Or do you give them the ball first so you can have it the second?
Exactly, because
you know if you have to go for it on fourth down or not.
Yes,
just like the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very interesting, right?
It's a different,
very interesting.
It's a different.
It's almost like deferring now. It's like almost the game is restarted. And now that's a great point, Mike. I didn't even think about that. Do you defer now?
Yeah.
The teams defer in overtime.
Yeah.
Like, whew, that is interesting.
Like, we'll take defense first.
Right.
Because then we know if we have to get the touchdown.
Yeah.
I would be going on all four downs.
Boy, I think for me, it would depend how the flow of the game was going.
Yeah.
If my defense could not stop them for shit, and it's just a high scoring game, fuck it, give me the ball.
No, see, I want it second.
I still would take it. Yeah, I still would take it.
Say we go back to the 13-second game, right? And we got the ball back. I would want us to take the ball second, because then if we score the touchdown, then I'm like, okay, my defense isn't going to be able to stop them on the third possession.
Let's go for 2 points.
Field goal. Let's go for 2 and try to win this thing right now.
Yeah, I got it. But you can still do that on their first possession.
But then they get the ball and they can go for 2.
No, I get it. You're right. I don't know. I think it depends on the flow of the game, but I get it. That's tough. What would you guys do in the chat? What would you guys do? Defer in overtime, or would you guys just play it how the game's going, or want the ball first? Yeah, that's a great question. Guys in the chat, everybody in the chat, following along with our awesome conversation.
I do like the rule tweak.
I do.
Smart move. I had a feeling it was going to go there. But to answer Weston's question, yes, we are doing a live draft stream.
Oh yeah, all three days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And yeah, we'll get more into that next week on how we're going to do all that. And we have some stuff that we're going to do in this upcoming season that's going to be fun for all of you guys. Meaning, we're going to get you guys involved a little bit more in what we're doing. We got a pretty cool idea set up. It's me and Mikey kind of go through everything. We'll let you guys know once everything's set up. And if you guys want to do it with us, you're more than welcome. And like I said, it's just a little teaser.
Yep.
It's a little teaser.
Or pop in and out. And you can do that too.
Right. Because I do want this season, Mikey, I want us to be a little bit, even though I feel like we are, like with our chat, I feel like we are one of the best podcasts out there as far as being having them involved, active in the chat. Yeah. But I want this season to do a little bit even more. Like I want our chat really involved. Oh yes. So we're gonna come up with some creative
Don't
stuff.
Give Spin any extra motivation.
I saw Spin earlier. He was watching my boys over at Post Podium podcast. Shout out to them, by the way. They're on Fanbase too. 6 o'clock, I think, or 5:30 or 6 o'clock on Fridays. They go on for 2 hours, man. They sometimes 3 hours. So show them some love. Subscribe over there for me. They're doing big things over there. Scott Blakely, Tommy, you're going to have an AFC. Yes, I'm still going to be doing that. I was on the fence for the shakedown, but I'm still going to do it. I think the thing is I still have my Jets guy, Anthony. I still got Curtis involved. Still got Captain D involved. But as you guys know, Zach, who was the Patriots guy, he's going off to college, so he can't do it this year. So I'm going to see if I can find a Patriots.
If not, I'll fill in and be your Patriots guy.
There you go. Yeah. Mikey will be the Patriots guy.
I'll come in and be the Patriots guy. We talk
right.
about him.
What up, Beth? So yeah. Listen, man. Also, too, I want to tell you guys this, man. Before we move on. As you guys know, many know, I just started a new job, so that's why right now the channel is a little lackluster. I do apologize for that. Normally, I'm putting videos out and doing a little bit more content, but this off season has been a little bit weak. I've gone through some stuff, as you know, but once football season starts to kick back up in August, I'll be able to put more content for you guys right now. But right now I got to focus on bills and catching up and stuff like that. So just bear with us for a little bit. You still got Mafia Talk on Wednesdays. You still got us always on Fridays. By the way, Mikey, that is my schedule. We'll always be here on Fridays. Moving. So no matter what. So Friday Night Lights is officially back every Friday at 9 o'clock. So, but as far as videos and stuff like that, I just got to get time, guys. Like I'm working a lot of hours right now. So bear with me a little bit, but the channel is heading in the right direction. So,
Roy, we may not have a live call-in segment, but we do have the voicemail that we will play if people actually leave Tommy voicemails. And
we have
the voicemail segment.
Yeah, dude. Listen, guys, that is a thing too. So if you guys look on the ticker, there's the number there. We don't answer live calls. However, I will say this: if you guys ever want to join us, and you don't want to show your face, that's fine. We can do something, cover your face with the, show them, Mikey, where you just, you could just be audio only, where you stop the cam like this. You can just talk like this. So you don't have to necessarily be on video if you don't want to. If you want to be on video and join us and talk a little bit Buffalo Bills, that's something else that we're going to try to do this year. Get more fans involved. If they want to come on and talk a little bit Buffalo Bills football with us, you can. So just a heads up with that. Or you could call the hotline, which the number's right there, and just say whatever the fuck you want, and I'll play it here live. That's it. Real simple.
I'm really looking forward to, if we lose any games next year, the people's rants about.
Oh, dude. Oh my God. I know, right? I'm gonna really push that.
Us rant. It'd be nice to hear you guys rant.
Dude, Aramis went on a rant today.
Ohio against the world. So what's up, boys? James isn't worth the $15 million a year. What do you think of the James Cook situation?
I was going to say we're going to get into that in a minute, but Let's finish this.
we'll get into it? Okay.
And we'll get into that because that's
I didn't
a
want him to-
whole.
We were ignoring his question.
No, we're not. Yeah, Ohio. We're gonna trust me. It's definitely. It really is honestly the story right now for the Buffalo Bills. I'll be honest with you because it's kind of slow right now. Not a lot happening. And it's the one story I kind of feel like this is Diggs all over from last year or the year before. I'm sorry, in 2023. It's turning into that slowly but surely. And I wish it wasn't, but it does give us talking points. So, anyways, let's go through this and then we'll get into that situation next. So, the rest of the rules. Here we go. So, I'm cool with that. You cool with that as well?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Endorse the competition committee request to add additional specifics. Actions that would violate the league's unsportsmanlike rules, including a throat slash gesture, simulating fire or banishing a gun, the nose wipe. Honestly, I have no idea what that means, but I guess it's something bad.
They do this. You saw
Yeah,
listen.
Yeah, but I really don't know what that means.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid, right?
This is so. This is like there was no. Remember when they went through the no dancing, no celebrations in the end zone, and they pulled back and just said
they were trying to do the no fun league, right?
It's like, come on, these are grown men getting paid a lot of money.
It's not. Listen, it's not that big of a deal. I can understand if it was extreme sexual nature, maybe like over the top. Like,
okay, the
you
guy
got kids watching
the quarterback, and he does a dog and like pees on the quarterback. Okay, I can see you throwing a flag for that.
And even that, I think, is funny. I don't think that's the end of the world.
Josh
like
humping.
You remember
Ramsey's head?
You remember Randy Moss with the fake pulling down his pants?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so." Did he? He didn't even pull. He faked pulling it. Come on, stop. That's so ridiculous. And remember, NBA tried doing that where they were making players. Remember, if they were not playing, they had to dress in like a suit. Remember that a long time ago? They were also trying to force their players to be, dressing in suits and not baggy and this and that. Yeah, so it's like, God, like, come on, man. Like, I get some things.
Team attire.
Yeah, I don't even, like I said, I don't even know what this nose thing's about. Like, that's how, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like, it's not that big of a deal. And I guarantee you, I'm not the only one that doesn't even know what the hell that means. Now, I'm sure some of you guys do. I don't. I don't even care. I haven't even looked. That's how much I don't care. So, I don't know. Like, I think it's really, I think it's these, I have no idea. I think it's a stupid thing. Who cares? You know what I mean? Anyways, let's get to the rest. Approved a proposal from the Steelers to have one video or phone call with no more than 5 prospective free agents during the negotiation period before the formal opening of free agency. Previously, teams could speak only with the agent of the player during that period. So what do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, they were already basically doing it without doing it. Because what it does is it causes problems on like travel logistics to try to get them on the day free agency actually opens.
Right.
So they're not allowed to talk to him until that day, and they have to wait until the next day to do the press conference because they have to figure a way to get the people here. They can talk to them when they first sign them. They can work and make sure they have the travel arrangements done so they can be there on the day free agency opens to sign the contracts and do the media. It just made sense.
Yep. All right, let's get to the next thing. Let's see. Approved a request from multiple teams to allow team staff to prepare K-balls. Football is used only on special teams for game day.
Love this one. Pat McAfee was all over this, saying this is going to be great for the league. Okay. You'll actually see punters be better. You'll see kickers be better because they're not using, like they used to get a 30-minute window to break in brand new balls. Now they get to bring broken in balls. They'll still be weighed and still do all the like the PSI things and
make
all those
sure
things,
it's good.
But you'll actually have better results because of it.
I got a question for you, like a legitimate question.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like I never got it, but why do both teams get their own football? When I know maybe it's a stupid question, but if all the footballs have to be the same weight, the same everything,
how I don't. It's a preference.
So okay. I was just curious. I was just curious because
it goes all the way down to high school football that way.
All right.
So when I played, I was a quarterback. I liked the newer ball. You know what I mean?
And, so they allow that. They allow you to break the ball down as like what you like.
They have,
but the weight has to be the same.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they have to have the same PSI in the ball.
Weird. I just want to think that would.
But it's how much is it broken in? I always liked the new because it had the high school ones had tack on the new ones. So not only did it help the quarterbacks grip it helped the receivers catch it.
See, in basketball, I always liked one partially used because it wasn't so slick. It had a better bounce for me. You know what I mean? Like it really wasn't so slick. Kind of like shoes. Like I hate brand new shoes. Going on playing brand new cleats or basketball shoes are always tight, hurt. You got to break them in. Like I would, dude. I wish I could just buy shoes that were like already broken in but brand new, right? Which they don't have.
Let's hit the chat before we move on. Make sure we're not missing anybody.
Yeah. And we're gonna get to all.
What does Cookie have in common, brothers? Yeah. You know, listen. We signed 4 or 5 people. The 4 that we signed didn't say a peep in the media. Kind of tells you everything you need to know.
How do you guys feel about drafting Trey Amos?
I'm a big Trey Amos fan.
Yeah.
Trey Amos fan. Like I'm good with him. Let's draft him at 30.
All right. So Roy's saying the no swipe. Look. Oh yeah.
So she was gang signs. Okay. Thank you, Roy. I didn't know that.
Well, geez, what if you're just not feeling whatever? I do that all the time.
But they don't go underneath. They do it over their mask.
Oh, well. All right. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is there that much gang violence in the NFL? I don't know.
Yes.
Just saying. Not in the NFL. I haven't heard anybody getting jumped outside the NFL and gang fighting in the NFL. I could be wrong, but it's common gang sign. See, I didn't even know that. So thanks you for informing us about the nose gang sign. I had no idea.
I live a sheltered life, brother. In Northern
I know gang signs with your hands. I had no idea there was gestures with your nose or your face. Like I really honestly had no idea. Either that's I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not living the gang life. So missing baseball. Missing baseball for pitchers no different. Every team and every player has their preferences.
Yep. He's talking about the difference between the footballs.
Yeah. I think the reason why Cook didn't get extended is because he is asking for the top end of market value. For Bean, there really is no rush to sign him if they do end up extending him. We're going to get to that spin in a second. We're just going to end this, and then we're going to go to Cook right after, actually, because it seems like it's a hot topic, and we'll get to that. So there we go. Mikey likes that. Approved proposals by the competition committee allowing 2 players to be designated to return from IR if they are placed on IR when rosters are reduced to 53, granting playoff teams 2 more returns from IR spots in the postseason and designating point differential as the third tiebreaker on waiver claims. Mikey?
Like it.
You like it? Okay.
I like it because it allows you to, before, once the playoffs started, you couldn't bring guys back. You had to bring them back early. Now you can bring them back in the playoffs. I like that idea. Or if someone gets hurt like week 15 and it'll go, they won't be back. And like Adrian Hudson, he got hurt early, right? But he could have come back. You know what I mean? If they made a certain thing, Micah Hyde could have come back if we made it to a certain spot.
Right.
We can leave them on IR and we don't have to pull them off by a season.
You don't have to worry. Exactly. Which I like. Which should have been. It should have been. For
and the point tiebreaker for waiver claims, I like that too. Because you might have the same team rank, but it's it used to be based off of last year's records, not what's happening that year. Now that the point differential that year is actually brings it into what's happening this year, not based off of last year.
Yep.
So
so here's table. So what table means is it's not approved. They're going to leave it on the table for the discussion. So the Detroit Lions proposal is to make playoff seeding based on regular season records as a guiding principle rather than division champion.
That's not going to happen.
Like that.
I like it. I do because you have some bad divisions that
I get it. I get it, but
it's never going to happen because you're not going to get owners to give up a home game for winning their division. It's just not
I get that, and I'm with you there. But listen, if it doesn't matter for me, if you're in a bad, it is what it is.
Minnesota and Detroit. Week 18, they were playing. One got the 1 seed, one got the the 5 seed.
Yeah,
and they had the second best record in the conference, or the third best record in the conference.
But that's the way it falls. That's how it goes.
I think it's gonna shut down. Not doing it.
When Buffalo played Houston in 2019, we had the better record, but we played in Houston. I had no problem with that. Listen, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, we should have won our division then. Go win your division. You won't have that problem. So I have no problem with it. And I like you said, I don't think that's going to change. Owners aren't going to. The Lions could try and try. I don't see that passing. Also, did not approve Detroit's proposal to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact. What do you think about that?
I like it. You know, I don't. You know, now I think they could have eliminated the illegal contact, but holding. If they would have eliminated that, if they would have gotten past them, someone would have reached out and grabbed them.
Exactly.
Or they could have adjusted it to say, you know, if you have illegal contact after the first down marker, it's a first down. Or a foul.
Do you like spot calls? So like in college, if you do a PI, it's only 15 yards, and obviously NFL, it's where it's at, right? On a PI. Do you
no,
like
I
want it?
I like the spot calls.
Or do you like the college rule? You like spot calls? Okay.
I mix emotions on it because sometimes quarterbacks use it just to throw it up and
just to get it, right?
Just to get it, and it bails them out. But they're professionals, so I understand it. If we're going to do spot fouls, we should do spot fouls on everything. You know, on
that's true.
On illegal contact.
I'm with you.
Don't just call it a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Call a spot foul where that was at. If it's not past the first down marker, it's not a first down.
Yep. And the last thing, really, once again, the Buffalo Bills getting the rules changed. They announced the use of Sony's Hawkeye technology to measure first downs in 2025. So we all know why. It's because of the Bills-Chiefs game and a lot of calls that we got hosed on. And you know what? Listen, man, at the end of the day, I don't even think that, to me, on those type of things, I just wish the NFL would have a separate set of officials in the booth, chime down to and they do it here and there. They just don't do it a lot, and go, yo, that last play, Dawson Knox or Dalton Kincaid, he got a first down. Mark that a first down. Real simple. You don't need to go and have a McDermott throw a red flag, like, because that was a clear first down. The James Cook earlier in the game was a first down. Right when he ran out of bounds, it was first. Like, you have that ability.
And you saw it a bunch this year where the guy didn't get the first down and they gave him the first down.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you have that ability, and they have it because they've used it, where they're like, oh, we have to change, we're changing the call on the field from up the booth call, whatever. So I wish they would implement them. I don't need lasers. Like, just get it right. And you have an extra set of eyes up there, like the announcers.
That was so they can rescind a penalty now, but they can't throw a penalty.
Right.
They will use the lasers to spot the ball where it went at, like, and change the calls, all that. So all that stuff's still there. It's just extra technology to help make the call right.
I get it. I just that's one thing, man, with today's technology and all the camera technology, all the cameras you have on the field, and how quick you can get back to the referees on the field and go, oh, you made a mistake there. You
don't need the note card anymore. Like, they used the laser technology like during the game when they showed preseason. But during the game they went and pulled it up and it showed Josh got the first down with the laser technology.
No, yeah, and I thought he got it without the laser technology. But I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, that particular one was close. Fine, you use the laser crap. But the play before that, which is the one that I'm more bothered about,
which they would have used
True, but but you don't even need the laser there, though. Is my point. It wasn't even that close. He got it. You get what I mean? Like that one was like, okay, he got it. Like everybody saw, he got it. Like they just, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like
this new technology, they would have been blown down because it's part of the actual rules. It wasn't last year to where they used it.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious how it goes.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be one of those things where we're either gonna love it or we're gonna hate it. Because is
it gonna be like the PI challenge where they never actually overturned one?
Exactly. Is it going to be all for naught? You know what I mean? The same bullshit. So we'll find out. But now let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Well, let's jump into the chat before we get into the thing because there's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah, let's do it. What do you want me to get to first?
I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I think Ray's Cook didn't get the extensions because he is asking for top end money. Yeah. Here's the thing. He's asking for top 5 running back money. He's not a top 5 running back in the NFL. I love Cook, and he's really good, and he fits perfect to what we're trying to do, but you can't be considered a top 5 back if you're not playing more than 50% of the snaps. I'm sorry. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're gonna. So here's the deal, man. Let's dive into the James Cook thing. So as you guys know, James Cook's selling his house, right? And by the way, supposedly everything in it, everything. All right, his football, like right, all his Buffalo Bills shit. I mean, that's what I heard. Now, I could be wrong, could be misleading report or sort whatever who said that, but supposedly everything in the house is part of the deal. So game balls, all that. That says a lot if that's true. That he's just Xing out the Buffalo. Like anything he did here, it's like he wants it removed. I mean, when you do, Mikey, that would be like if I'm married and I'm like, we got separated. I got my, separated from my wife, and I have a house I'm selling. I'm like, everything in this shit, all the pictures and shit. You do what you want, throw them, but you're done with your girl, right? You're done. You're leaving that behind.
If he's selling his house that way, he's saying I'm done with Buffalo, and chances
that's
are,
what I'm saying. Right?
That means he's not coming back next year.
I can't. Dude, like once again. If you're selling a house, who gives a fuck? Like, we don't know the circumstance. You could buy another house above. I don't know. But if you're selling your belongings, meaning the things you did, your accomplishments for the team, that speaks volumes. If that's true, once again, I don't know. That's whatever, the thing I read. But if that's the case, boy, that's like that is a big fuck you, right? That is I'm out of here. I want nothing to do with this team. I don't even want the memories of being here because Mikey, that's all that is. Yes, it really, at the end of the day, it's just memories of what you've accomplished wherever you were, right? Like I get it. It's like it's value to you, right? But if you're willing to just get rid of it, go, hey, to Johnny down the block who wants to buy your home and go, that shit I don't really care about that shit. I'm done with that. Like that means you're done, right? You have no ties with the organization. You want to move on. You want to erase whatever you did here. And I mean, has it gotten that bad? Has talks got that bad where James Cook, you know what I mean? Like that's just, it's really odd to me.
Spen says Cook's house was in his brother's name.
Well, it don't matter though, Spen. Like the house thing, Mikey, like I said, who cares? Like, to me, that's not even a big deal. He can be selling his house and buy another house anywhere he wants. To me, that means nothing. But if you're selling, yes, that is, if that's true, that is more meaningful than the house. Who cares about the house? Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe the guy don't want to live in Buffalo, and which I would understand, right? The weather's, that's not for everybody. James Cook's from Miami. Maybe he wants to live in Miami and play in Buffalo. Like people do. Players do that all the time.
Money, and James, like, you can sell it with all my memorabilia inside.
No. Dalvin has some money. I highly doubt he's doing that for. Like, I listen. This is something happened. Like, and now here's the kicker, right? Here's the thing. So a lot of people, are saying, oh, like the Bills should pay him, and he's a playmaker, Aramis, my buddy from Post Podium, they're on board. They want James Cook to stay. They feel like he's worth it. But, of course, not 15 a year, but they want him to stay. And I think Bean does too, which is, I'll be honest with you, I was a little surprised that there was even talks because Brandon Bean's never extended a running back and willing to pay a running back, right? He gave Singletary 1 more year to stay, right? 1 more year or something like that, but that was nothing. This would be a much bigger contract than a Devin Singletary. Just the fact that they were in negotiations tells me he values him, right? But he values him right?
At a different number. And what tells me that they weren't even close. So if Cook's asking for 15, what Bean come in at 7, 8 which is what
exactly.
Henry's making?
Right. And we have no clue too. By the way, we have no idea. It could have been a really good offer. It could have been a shit offer. It could have been a really, like I said, we don't know. We weren't there, obviously.
But not even close.
But yeah, not even being close. Where Brandon Bean comes out and says, "That's it." Like, we're moving on, and we got once the Benford deal got happened, and then he talked about that deal going. You knew that was a wrap for that deal.
Well, when you look at the extensions that were signed, Josh took less overall APY. Groot took less overall APY. Benford, everyone thought it was going to be 19. It came in really at like 17. Took less APY. Shakir took less APY.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
15.
Yeah. So here's the deal on the team-friendly contract, right? How we like to call them or whatever.
Yeah.
And Post Podium was talking about it as well. So I'll say this about Brandon Bean. He's always paid his players who have performed. Mm-hmm. For the most part, right? The only guys you truly ever let walk that performed was Tremaine Edmonds, right?
Who wanted top market
Who wanted top end money. Young, he got it in Chicago. I get it, right? And a premier position, by the way. Premier position. Right, it was a top end, and he's a different he's kind of a unicorn. They could put him on edge line, but I get why the intrigue was there for Tremaine Edmonds. James Cook, let's be real, the running back market, it's still right? Like teams aren't it's still not the highly touted, we got to get a running back, let's go pay a running back high end money. It's not what the value is around the NFL. James Cook, I'm going to tell you right now, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. 1, 2, there's players. The reason why players I feel like take team-friendly deals is because they are in a good environment. They're in a winning environment. And for them, a couple extra mil to go play for the fucking, the Jets, where you're going to be miserable, new coaching staff. You don't know you have no idea how their media is. There's so much to it. You don't know their fan base too well. Like, you got to move your whole family again. There's a lot to it. And a lot of players go, you know what? I'd rather take a little bit less. I'm in a good situation. They drafted me, whatever the case may be. I'm staying right here where I'm comfortable. And James Cook may be one of those guys, Mikey, that's never been comfortable in Buffalo, right? He's a Miami guy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. And maybe he does want out. Maybe he does want more opportunities running the ball. I'm just throwing that out there too.
I think Roy's kind of onto something. Running backs don't have a long shelf life. You get the money when you can get the money. I agree. Maybe staying in a contender isn't his top priority. Maybe setting his family up for life, having, life-changing money, generational changing money is more important than staying on a contender.
But let me ask you this. Who out there is willing to give James Cook even close to 15? And the reason why I ask that, I know it only takes one, but how good is James Cook really to be that high on the market where team's going to go, he is that superstar? Because
knows of somebody. Tremaine Edmonds, we knew a year before Tremaine Edmonds got paid exactly what he was going to get paid. So don't tell me that the agents are behind the scenes. So
I get it, but once again, it's a different position. Even Barkley last year.
His agents are good agents. They're going to not steer him. If they're telling him that he can get 15, they've heard from someone who said they would pay him 15.
Agents aren't always right, though, bro. I mean, look at Dow. Look at Le'Veon Bell. They fell down bad rabbit holes where they
And
thought
if
they were going to
James
get
Cook's
something.
following that, listen, it's his life, it's his money. Do what you
No, I
got to
get
do.
And I'm not saying he won't get a deal out there, but you got to remember the running backs that have held out in the past. I'm just throwing names out there like Cook and Le'Veon Bell. They ran into some fucked up situations because what happened was they eventually had to take a deal, and it was a deal that or a team that they didn't really necessarily want to go to, but it was the only team willing to make them a deal. Right? So for Dalvin Cook's situation with the Jets, it was the only team. Remember, the Jets were pretty much the only team willing to, all right, fuck it, we'll take it. And it was terrible. It worked out. It was awful. Le'Veon Bell, where did he go? I forgot where he went. The Jets too, right? Terrible. I just
they were
feel
the
like
only ones willing to give them the money that they were asking.
that's right. But my thing is this: I get where you're going from, and I get where Roy's going from. You got to get paid, right? It's a short shelf life for most running backs. You got to get paid. I understand that, but I feel like the Bills are willing to pay him. Now I don't know this, but if they're in contract negotiations, I would assume it's in that range of what, Mikey, 7 to probably 9.5.
Probably would be my guess.
If I'm right.
So let me ask you this.
What would you really think? How much more would he get? You know what I mean? Like, is my point. Like, what would the Jets be willing to pay?
If you went to your boss and said, "Hey, I'm hearing because your agent comes to you and says, "Hey, next year we can probably get you 15. If the Bills aren't going to give you 15, we can probably get you 15."
Right.
If your agent who you trust is telling you that, and you go to your boss and say, "Hey, I want 15," and they come back and say, "We only think you're going to be worth 8."
You know what I would say? I would go, well, let me go home and think about it, right? And really weigh out your options. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And just because you take a little bit more money doesn't mean that plan or that decision will be the best decision. But you may have that money.
If his drive is money and not other things.
I get it. I get it.
Because your priorities have to shift depending on where he's at. If his priority is to get the most money, then let's be honest, that's what Myles Garrett just did. He had a chance
he did do it.
Max Crosby did the same thing.
But what's the difference between Myles Garrett and James Cook? I mean, let's be real.
I'm saying Max Crosby did the same thing. Like, guys,
even Max Crosby.
That.
Okay, but we're talking top 3,
I'm telling you, the point is these guys were saying that it was super important for them to be on a contender.
You're right. No, I'm with you. Listen, Mikey, I 100% agree. But you were asking me if you were my boss, like, I would have to go. Okay, I'm going just like James Cook. I would weigh out my options.
I'm going.
I would weigh my options. It depends. Okay, so Bills are offering me. Because we don't know yet, or we have no idea. But let's say the Bills offered him
8.
Let's say 8, right? And your agent, now mind you, just because your agent's saying, and by the way, your agent saying doesn't mean nothing because you're not a free agent. He doesn't know what any team's willing to pay because he's not a free agent. How does he know? He's only going by what he feels his value would be if he's a free agent. Okay, you don't know that though.
The
funny
fine. Thing is you assume that we knew a year ahead of time that Tremaine Edmonds was going to get $18 million. His agent came out and said he had heard that someone was willing to give him $18 million. You don't think that happens behind the scenes that people don't know about?
I just don't know if it's for that position, for that running back position. I don't know if they
15 for a reason.
Listen, man. I'll be honest. Like I said, if it was a difference, I'd have to weigh out my options, Mikey. I'm happy at my job. It's a good job, and like we're always on top, right? Like we're always top sales team.
Or if it was $1 million or $2 million, I can see that. But
That's what I'm saying.
Asking for 15 and they're offering me 8, so I'm going to double my money.
I'm with you. You know what? Good for him. If a team were to give James Cook $15 million, dude.
Maybe a team sees James Cook and says we can get, because the Bills only playing 50% of the time, we can use them 80% of the time, and we can get the same production out of them.
Then you know what I would say? I would tell all the NFL players, you better go fucking get that agent. James Cook ain't worth 15 million.
You know,
He's the best damn agent in the fucking NFL.
listen,
he
if we
gets him
were going to
15.
pay 15 million, we should have went and got Barkley.
I know. That's my point. Like, Mikey, look, this is not a knock on James Cook. He's a good running back. I just don't see him being a great running back. I don't see him being a top 3 running. I don't even see him a top 5 running back. Seems a good running back who had a really good year last year as far as touchdowns go. We don't use them a lot. Maybe that's to our fault. I have no idea. Maybe if we
can't
did
be on the field on third down because he can't pass block.
Right. I just don't see the look, man. There's running backs in every draft, right? Every
That's why
draft.
I say trade him.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to be here, if you're unhappy with your situation, just ask for an out. Like, it's real simple. All these players, Mikey, are independent contractors. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For the most part. They get drafted. They're with their team for 3 years. They're an independent. After that, they're free to go where they want, free to sign where they want, free to take whatever they want to do. If you're not happy, okay, let them know. And I'm sure Brandon Beane will move on. But much rather that than all the behind the scenes stuff and we're going down this, whole thing.
The social media bull crap.
Yeah, it's just like, bro, look, it's pointless. Now the selling the house thing. It's whatever. It's just a story on top of the other shit that he's done the whole off season. Which once again, it doesn't bother me.
So fucking quiet.
It's odd. It is odd that he can't. But you know what, man? Maybe he just had that he had a good year, he had a lot of touchdowns, and he's just feeling like maybe the running back position is starting to come back around, and running backs need to get paid. I'm just saying, maybe that's a possibility. He's on, and he maybe James Cook rewrites everything.
In this conversation because we don't know.
Right. I have no idea.
Unless Scott, or don't trade him. Play the crap out of him this year, and then let him go and get a comp pick for him.
What if he sits? What if he sits out?
He's not going to sit out a year. You saw what happened.
No, I know, because then he'll lose a lot of money. And he
can't sit out a whole year. It doesn't accumulate a year.
Yep. Weston coming in as a fan of a team that's traded a superstar, Tyreek Hill, who, by the way, was we're going to compare the two. I mean, come on. It's not a knock on James Cook.
Just stop crapping on James Cook.
I'm just saying, but you're going to compare a superstar to a good player. It's a big difference. Anyways, who's complaining about an extension? I trade him to a team like the Cardinals or Jags and let them pay him $15 million. Exactly. Yeah. See, Tyreek Hill's situation was different, right? Tyreek Hill, I believe they already had paid. He got paid and wanted more money. Like, that's different. Like, once a player starts getting greedy, you already paid him. Now he wants more. Like, it's kind of like Diggs. We paid Diggs and Diggs wanted even more. And we paid Diggs. He still wasn't happy. And then then you got to get rid of him, right? Exactly. But then you got to move on, right? There's no Diggs situation. We paid him handsomely. Like, Diggs, it wasn't about the money at that point.
He never even played for us on his extension.
No, it wasn't even about the money at that point. It was more about now there's my point, and I like that. Like, at least Diggs was like, hey, he just wasn't. It wasn't even about the money. He just didn't want to be in Buffalo anymore. Okay, that's okay. If James Cook, if that's the reasoning, like maybe James Cook is purposely making a high contract to get out of Buffalo. I have no idea. Maybe he doesn't want to play for Buffalo. Maybe he feels like he can go somewhere else and play for another team he feels like he wants to play. I don't know. Maybe he's forcing his way out by asking for a lot.
A lot of maybes.
There is a lot of maybes. It's a weird situation that I'll be honest with you, I did not see coming. I really didn't see this coming.
Correct. You were talking about him sitting out. He has no leverage to sit out. If he sits out, he gets fined. Now we can waive the fines if we want to, but we don't have to waive the fines.
No,
and he's only making $5 million this year.
Yeah.
And those fines are large and they add up quick.
It's just I'm very curious. So it's going to be. I'll tell you what. When camp hits, we're gonna know. If he's not traded by camp, it's going to be real interesting. It could get messy. Let's hope it doesn't, because we don't want distractions. But
I saw something on X, and I don't mean to cut you off here, but
it
just
go ahead.
popped in my head. I saw something on X from one of the content creators. I think it came from Cover One or Built in Buffalo. It was Uber Hansen, I think his name is. And
Hansel or whatever.
Hansel, Uber Hansel. Yes. And it said people were talking about using James Cook as trade bait. And they were talking about moving up to Dallas at 12. They said, well, that would put him basically at worth pick 46. And I don't think, the valuation isn't on him at pick 46. I'm like, so you're telling me we have fans who don't evaluate him at a mid-second round pick, but are willing to give him $15 million a year to be a top 5 running back? Wouldn't a top 5 running back be evaluated at a mid-second round pick?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm like, so I didn't really understand like the comp of like people are mad saying, no, you have to sign him to what he wants. But you have draft pundits who are really good at this stuff saying his evaluation isn't there. So if his evaluation isn't, a second round pick, how the hell are you going to give him $15 million a year to be be the second highest paid back in the league? If he's not even valued at a second round pick who would come in as a rookie. It's wild to me.
And listen, and I also get the flip side of, you get rid of Cook, you're getting rid of a weapon on offense, right?
Because he is a weapon.
He is a weapon, and yes, I like the last thing we need to do is take away weapons from Josh Allen, right? Because we don't have like a lot of true big time weapons, right? And I'll be honest, James Cook is one of the big time weapons we have on offense. I agree with that, but at the same time, you can't overpay for a guy that's just not worth that, because you feel like these are only he's the option right now, running back. We have to stick with him, and he's producing right now.
He's a weapon. He is, and
he's
maybe
a weapon.
Roy's right. And again, back to the maybes, because we don't know. Maybe his leverage is he wants to play more than 50% of the time to prove that he can be a 3-down back. I don't know, but
I don't know either.
I don't see that happening in Buffalo.
But here's the deal with that. There's a reason. There's a reason why he wasn't used a lot in Georgia. There's a reason why he's not used a lot as far as snap count in Buffalo. This can't just be a coincidence. Listen, if James Cook was that dude, there will be no excuse not to use him more than 50%. Then the coaching staff is doing something wrong. Then I would be pissed and go, yo. Yeah. But we don't know. We're not there in practice. We don't know where they're seeing the weaknesses of James Cook. I see him. I know him.
Okay.
Right. But they do a better job than me, and they're the coaches.
I don't trust our coaches as far as I can throw them. They sat Kuna Ford on the fucking bench.
True.
Then he came out and played and balled out.
But listen, we also know, but our eyes don't deceive us. We know what James Cook.
He's not a third down back. He can't pass block.
Exactly. I don't care what anyone says about his pass blocking. His pass blocking is not good. And I'll be honest with you, his receiving was okay last year. I wasn't overly. It wasn't out the box crazy. I thought he did better the year before. Yeah, but yards wise, I'm just saying. Yeah. But
he wasn't used that way. He was used as a runner only last year.
Yes, correct. So I don't know. Like, once again, if they got rid of James Cook, I also feel like the Buffalo Bills wouldn't have a plan, right? They're not going to just get rid of Cook not to have a plan. and I'm not saying the guy that's going to replace Cook is going to be James Cook out the box, but
no, but it's a loaded draft class.
But we could find that player.
There's a loaded draft class. Travion Henderson out of Ohio State fits that mold really well. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee fits that mold really well. Then you have the two first-round picks.
Yeah. When we drafted James Cook, nobody was high on James Cook.
I like James Cook coming out.
Yeah, but nobody was super high on him, Mikey. Nobody was like, bro, James Cook is going to be that guy. He's going to be fucking great.
I thought he was going to be better receiving back than an actual running back.
Me too.
Because he ran routes like a wide receiver. I thought we were going to use him like Kamara was used, and we didn't use him that way.
Exactly. Listen, when we drafted James Cook, I thought it was because we didn't get the guy from, and really that is the reason. Yeah. We didn't get McKissick. It was like, okay, all right, so we didn't get McKissick. We'll draft our own, which is fine. Because why? Well, it didn't work out. Let's go do the draft, just like James Cook. All right, this situation's not working. Let's get rid of James Cook, and we'll draft another running back.
Yeah.
It's real simple. And you've got the good news for Buffalo, Mikey, is you have Ray Davis, and you have Ty Johnson. You have reliable backs right now that even if you draft a running back and he doesn't work out, let's just say he doesn't work out. Let's say whatever, and it can happen. You still got reliable running backs.
Zach Moss.
Exactly. But you still got reliable weapons. You do. So I'm not overly concerned.
We're getting rid of one of our home run threats. That's the only down.
I'm with you there too. Yes, and he is, and he's turned into that.
I love
for sure.
Nathan's comment here. Maybe Ford thinks McD's a pain in the ass, like the others have rumored he to feel. Maybe. Well, again, around James Cook, the key word is a lot of maybes.
Well, and that, Nathan, that's what I was saying. Maybe he's just trying to overprice himself to get out of Buffalo, and that is a possibility. And like Mikey said, there's a lot of maybes. I have no idea. That's the thing, right? When players do cryptic messages, and we all have to sit here and go, oh boy, I wonder why. Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? Could it be money? Could it be he hates McDermott? He doesn't like the system. Man, I really wish players would be like, bro, I just want to get paid. Or, you know what? I really don't like playing in Buffalo. I would be totally fine with that. If they were just more open and go, hey, instead of this bullshit cryptic crap, I'm just going to come out and flat and tell you, if I'm staying here, I want to get paid huge money, but because I really don't want to be here, but you have to pay me.
Yeah.
Amy, I don't know.
Amy, I'm with you on that. If you can put incentives inside there, but chances are he wants guarantees.
That's what it sounds like to me, 100%. And I'm like I said, and I also feel like this. If you go down the history of running backs, Mikey, they have a short life, right?
Now get your money where you can. Like, listen, I'm not
have a short. No, I'm not either. But but the history of paying running backs after the rookie contract
isn't good.
Isn't good.
Jonathan Taylor was great during his rookie deal. He hasn't done anything since.
It really is not good.
Very few who have.
Look at
had up and down years. Saquon,
David Johnson,
Arian Foster,
the guy for the Rams running back.
Gurley got hurt right away and just never did anything.
Done, just like that, bro. Yeah,
and
for his dynamic
LTs and Sean Alexander's and those guys who did live up to their contracts, those days are gone. Those guys don't play running back anymore.
The Thurman Thomases, that shit.
They don't play running back anymore. A lot of them play different positions now.
That's what I said. It's if you're gonna pay it, it's gonna be because they're top 3 in the NFL for a long time, and that's like a Barkley or a Henry. Because
Kamara.
they're or a Kamara, they've been healthy. They're constantly putting up numbers every like. I get that I get, but outside of that, you're really rolling the dice. And for me, what I've noticed throughout the years of watching football, especially being a Bills fan, there's running backs in every draft, bro. Bro, we've never had the Buffalo Bills. Mikey, it's one thing I will say: we've always had running backs. We've always found a running back, always. They may not have stuck around long, but we've always had a decent running back or a good running back. I mean, go back. I mean, it's never been an issue. So
also with the offensive line we now have, which is dialed into the more running games, which is going to help.
Nobody talks behind
that. It's why Shanahan can just constantly rotate backs. It happened back with his dad. Right. Now it's happened with the Niners. They always have 1,000-yard back there because of their scheme.
Exactly. No, but once again, and I will say this too: nobody talks about how our offensive line has changed, how our offensive strategy has changed. Mm-hmm. We're more balanced. James Cook is benefiting a lot from that. I'm not taking anything from him. He's gotten better himself. He's gotten better. I felt like last year his contact balance was much improved. I thought his vision got better. He got stronger. So there's stuff that he did well too. But you also got to say, our offensive line is also creating some really good holes for him, which we didn't have in the past when Singletary was here. Just throwing that out there, which is because if you create a hole for James Cook with the speed, that's where we're talking. Yeah, they're home run threat. That's the problem with Devin Singletary. So let's say Devin Singletary was here on the team now with this offensive line.
20-yard run.
Exactly. He'll get caught up.
He's not getting a 50, 60, 70-yard run like
exactly.
Sam does.
But let's say you find a running back in the draft with speed, right? Which there is running backs, and you have that offensive line. Well, there you go. I'm not saying he's going to be a James Cook, but you have that ability or that running back with the speed.
You get that speed, and there's a lot of guys. Yeah. There's a lot of guys out there in the draft. I like what Spaghetti Steve says here. I like after one no drama filled season, we're right back to player drama.
Right. And I don't know if this is so much drama. As much as the Diggs. Hell, man? Yeah, because the Diggs thing was a 2-year. Let's be real, it was almost a 2-year drama thing.
Yeah,
it was just kind of like building up, like boiling water and oil and water, and eventually just exploded.
Also, it was in the national media every day, to where James Cook's not in the national media every day.
No,
it's talked amongst Bills fans every day, but it's not in the national media.
He's not.
Thing was.
Yeah, he's not, and he's also not throwing too many. He's not
taking shots at Josh.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's all about. He just wants his money.
Right. Yeah.
But
Scott saying top 5 online. But Cook did play well. Agree, Tommy. Yeah. I mean, listen, the old line, it starts up front. And that's one thing I will say too. When this old line was bad, James Cook wasn't. He was okay. I mean, but there was games last year where offensive line didn't play that well. James Cook had bad games. Go back. I remember games where me and Mike were like, stop running Cook. Get Ray Davis in there. Or don't stop running, because it ain't happening today. He's just not playing.
If the line isn't making if the line isn't giving him a hole, he's not going to create a hole.
No.
Johnson and Davis are more power.
Exactly.
They're always going 1 to 2. They're always going forward. Although I feel like James Cook has gotten stronger every year.
He did. He definitely.
His contact balance has gotten better every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've watched him run through people this year that I would never thought I did.
I'm with you. I was shocked. Yeah. Like I said, that's why I give him his dues. But at the same time, guys, go back. I'm telling you, go back and watch some of these games. There were some bad games, like where offensive line just wasn't. And James Cook was just he couldn't create for himself.
Yeah.
And that's what the best top 5, top 3 running backs do. They create for themselves. They make unbelievable plays. They don't need a dynamic offensive line or a great offensive line.
Because him in, he can't create inside the box. His creation is getting outside and using speed. Very much CJ Spiller-ish.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Scott, I'm with you on that as well. I think a lot of it is the Mafia has Diggs flashbacks, and it's why it's such a big talking point. Because we've been talking about this for 30 minutes,
dude. Yeah, it's a crazy. Well, shit. I mean, bro, like I told you, I was watching Post Podium. They probably talking about it for an hour and a half. I'm like, holy crap! It is an interesting topic. Like I said, I've talked to Aramis on the phone for 30 minutes, Mikey, about this, because I think everybody sees it a little different. And I'm not talking about Cook in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the running back position. I think everybody sees that position differently. And and at first, when I was, just kind of new watching football, kind of great, and I didn't really I was always for pay your player, right? He's fucking awesome, Will Spaghetti, whoever, right? Like, you gotta pay him. Who cares? But eventually, as you watch football and you understand the running back position don't last long,
it's all just about the fact.
Yeah, right. You got it. And the salary cap. Yeah, it's real. It could be work, but it is real.
If you give him money, 15. That's 15 million you'd be paying a pass rusher.
Right. You got to balance it right. And you have to, not everybody's going to be happy. Not everybody's going to get paid. And I always felt like paying a running back, in my opinion, is one of the worst things you could do. I feel like you can go through the draft.
Listen, Roy, I will never shit on Diggs for the production he put up here. Diggs was one of the best receivers that came through. His 4-year stint here is probably on par with anybody's 4-year stint anywhere. Like, he was elite.
Okay.
During those 4 years.
Yeah.
I'll give him his flowers.
And a long time, true, but not. He wasn't on Mold's level, in my opinion.
Wasn't on Mold's level because he wasn't for the longevity.
No, but I still think Moles is better. I think Moles is a better player.
You think he's a better player, but he didn't. He wasn't. He didn't have better stats.
No, but I think Moles is a better player. Like he had better stats than Buffalo. Moles did.
Over a long, you put up Moles' best 4 years. No, Diggs' best 4 years.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying I think Moles as a player, I think had more trait. Bet like if I were to pick them right now in their prime, I go Moles all day, and that's not because I'm a Moles guy, but I just feel like he's a better player overall. He could do more,
and that's why you think he's a better football player. That's fine. But I'm saying from a production standpoint, Diggs.
Oh no, he was unbelievable.
Buffalo was better than anybody's 4 years during that time.
But can I throw another thing out there though? He also had Josh Allen throwing the ball.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, but I'm not going to take his flowers away because he's what we needed at the time.
I get it. I'm not either. Like I think that's something we all agree on. If someone says differently, then they're lying to themselves. Stephon Diggs, dude, I have a jersey. I have his Pop Funko. Like I was a fan. Like I was ecstatic. Like I was all for the trade. I love Stephon Diggs at the time, but it didn't work out at the end. It's okay. But for what he did when he came here in 2020, to that run was really good.
It was an elite run.
And it was I think it was something that Josh had to have at least starting in 2020 because Josh was just starting to mold himself into the player that he is now. But it helped having that receiver to work with him while he was molding into the Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like
it gave him a alpha. Why he still had Brown and Beasley that first year, and then Beasley
to help him out,
to help him grow. It was that. It's what he needed at the time. He doesn't need that anymore, and he's proved that.
Roy Todd. Buffalo Plus claiming this
Buffalo Plus.
I love Buffalo Plus, so they're good dudes, man. But
listen, they can manipulate. Listen, the salary cap is real. Go look at what's going on in New Orleans. Now you can manipulate the cap and always create more and kick it down the road, but at some point that bill comes due. It's no different than playing credit card roulette. At home, you can constantly move it around, but at some point the bill comes due.
Yeah, that's my point when it comes to the cap. Exactly. Like I always say when fans like, how could they afford? They can't afford this guy. We're already. Yes, they can if they want to. Right?
We couldn't last year. We took our medicine last year.
Right. But you know what I mean. Like there's always, but I still feel like there's always a way. Now, how much do you want to get yourself in deep, right?
Yeah. So do you want to extend guys who haven't been there, or do you want to restructure guys because that doesn't guarantee them 2 or 3 more years on the team? It's the risk reward.
It's a risk reward. Yeah,
do it, but at what point that doesn't make sense.
Right. Spin Molson have Allen thrown him. Exactly my point. Like that's why I feel like it's that molds talk. I always tell people I don't give a fuck what anyone says. When you're playing with 5 or 7 different quarterbacks and you still put up those numbers, that's very impressive. And I don't think Diggs would even last
ever. Like I would have loved to see him go to one of the stable teams that had an elite quarterback and see what he could have done.
Troy, dude, can you imagine? Like Troy Aikman, whoever was around.
What was it? The Steve Young years?
Peyton Manning, I think it was a Peyton Manning. Yeah,
let him go play with some of those guys.
Right. Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine? Tom Brady.
Tom Brady throwing the molds. No, he already ruined my childhood. I don't need any more of
that. Saints GM needs to learn to take the medicine, get rid of all that dead cap before they get a franchise quarterback.
Yep. You have to take your medicine 1 year. Just take it.
Robert, how come nobody give Josh credit for working with his throwing metrics during the offseason before the 2020 season? Diggs disappeared in the playoffs. Yeah, so I always give. By the way, I that's one thing I've always talked about Josh Allen, and I talk about this to this day about just every player taking, working on their craft, like taking the extra step that you don't need to, that teams don't tell you to do, but you just go out there and do it because you want to be the best. Josh Allen, when he came in this league, everybody said bad completion percentage. It would never change. He'll always be a low 60%. That's just the way he's been throughout his career, high school. Yeah, wouldn't even get to 60. Right. And blah, blah, blah. And watching him in 2018, 2019, right, 58%. We're like, oh, we love him, but that needs to, right? Maybe they're right. I think some people are like, maybe this is what it is, right? But what did Josh do? Hey, something's wrong. I know I could be better, right? Something ain't right. Fixed it, and boy, came out, what, 67%?
69.
Right, yeah, it was unbelievable.
Then he's been in the mid
60s. Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, so, but look at all that took, right? He worked, and by the way, constantly worked with Jordan Palmer, right? He didn't have to, constantly just working at it.
By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you know this, but Anthony Richardson mapped went and saw the guy who Josh went and saw, because he's working with Jordan Palmer and Josh Allen this offseason. Anthony Richardson was. He's like, it worked for Josh. Let me see if it works for me. And he's went to go see how to do it.
Good for him. Well, you know what, too? I will say the next step for Anthony, that's a good step, but the next step is mentally. Like you got like he has to mature mentally, because that shit he pulled last year is unacceptable. Now, Eric was a better teammate too, and I will say this too: not a lot of guys like that, man. That stick with teams. And I'll be honest with you, if I was Eric, I would have bounced. Like, you're ruining your career, right? You're one of the best. You know what you're doing. Like, you're putting up these numbers with these garbage, different coaches, different OCs, different core. I would have been left. And that's why I can't believe the Bills put him on the wall.
They're going to put him on the wall.
I think on the new stadium. Yeah,
but it won't be a wall. Yeah. I think they're going to have like a shrine.
Digital, maybe.
No, it's not going to be digital. I think they're going to have like
a wall. Area. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
And rather than up inside the stadium, it'll be like in an actual like shrine area, I think.
Okay, it makes sense.
But it'll be interesting to see, how those things play out once it happens. If I was Molds is one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. But I guess my point was there's just not a lot of players that stick with their teams through thick and thin, and he was one of them that really like grind.
And now he's training the young Bills receivers.
Yeah, so I mean, it's wild, man. Yeah, legends, man. Beast mode.
Yeah, 17. He is.
So I got some other stuff tonight. We're on here. What is it? Hour and a half 15? Right now. So. Yeah, so I don't got too much more. Let's
spend. That's funny. The Saints might need 2 years. Take their dead cap in two chunks. Yeah, because they've been pushing that on for like what, 15 years, 16 years.
What?
They've been kicking the can down the road for like 15 or 16 years. Dude. They haven't taken their medicine. Like Bean took his medicine last year and just ate the Diggs dead cap.
You had to. Sometimes you have to, right? Yeah. It is what it is. I got this, Mike. I got one more thing after this, and we'll probably get out of here. So, Bills Wire, shout out to them. But I think this is actually a different article. Yeah, but I think actually this is an article written by somebody else other than them. They just put it on their site. Anyways, 10 Buffalo Bills players who could have bigger roles in 2025. All right, here we go. Tight end Dawson Knox. Knox had one of his most efficient seasons in 2024 and was a team leader on and off the field, yet was utilized at times in Joe Brady's offense. With Dalton Kincaid's progression taking a slight step back from his breakout rookie season, leaning on Knox a bit more in the passing game to use Josh Allen's long-tenured and experienced target more would make sense. So what do you think about What do you think about that?
I want Knox to do exactly what he did this year. I want to see Kincaid get more involved. I love Knox, but no, absolutely freaking not. If we're going to focus on Knox, then we whiffed on the Kincaid pick.
So Knox not taking a bigger role in 2025. Okay. I know, you know what? I agree.
I don't want to see him take a bigger role. I want to see Kincaid take the bigger role. I want to see Samuel take the bigger role. I don't want to see Knox taking the bigger role.
And guess what? Here we go. Curtis Samuel. Samuel linked to a 3-year deal to reunite with Joe Brady and catch passes from Josh Allen. His first year getting acclimated didn't go as hoped, but he did show the very types of abilities and plays he's capable of late in the Bills 2024 campaign, which he was starting to come around. That's true. With the addition of Josh Palmer, as well as a year back in Brady's system and in Allen's passing game under his belt, Samuel could see things open up on the field for him to take an increased role in 2025. So do you think he gets a better role in 2025? We see a better Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I think
2025.
I think you see, as long as he's healthy, you see what he did at the end of the year more throughout the year. I think they always envisioned that. He just wasn't healthy for most of the year.
I agree. Yeah, see, this is where the Buffalo Bills made a mistake, in my opinion, when it comes to Curtis Samuel. And I said it. A matter of fact, you remember, I said it all year. What? There was no need to start him to start a season. Turf toe, bro. Should have shut him, bro. That is a very painful injury. From everything that I've ever heard on turf toe, like there was no reason to have him out there, and he wasn't even productive, anyways. So what was the point? Like, they should have shut him down way earlier, put him on a short-term IR, a pup, whatever, and then brung him back, right? Eased them in. And instead, what happened, I think, with him is he played, he re-aggravated it. It just took a long time.
Then he hurt
again. Yeah,
he was trying to, baby the toe, and like it just became a nightmare. They should have shut him down.
They should have from the get-go. Yeah, from the get-go. It just made no sense.
Shut him down when he hurt his shoulder. They left him on the active roster.
Yeah, and honestly, he wasn't producing. So it didn't. If he was producing, like let's say he was Khalil Shakir, right, and you really need him out there because he was producing, fine. Like I get it. You know what? You're gonna have to play through this, right? I've seen players, but we didn't need him. He wasn't producing. He wasn't doing anything. So I don't know why they kept trying to have him out there. And maybe that was Curtis Samuel wanting to play through it. But I hope they learn from that in the future from different players and don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, so anyways,
they're going to continue doing what they are. Thank you, Robert. If you're bouncing, we appreciate you being here tonight. Yeah,
right. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you, man. Dynamic podcast. Yeah. See? We're dynamic, baby.
That's right.
Dynamic. That's right. Dynamic, baby.
This is the guy I want to see have the bigger role.
Yes.
We traded up for him in the draft. God damn it. Use it.
Absolutely. Being a receiving tight end who had a strong rookie campaign that set some franchise marks, much of the buzz going into last season was around Kincaid and what he might do in his second season, which, while serviceable, he did not have the impact he did in his first year with Buffalo and experienced some injuries during the season. With the dedicated offseason program, some work, however, Kincaid, like Samuel and receiver Keon Coleman, figures to benefit from the addition of Josh Palmer as well and could take on a greater role. So what do you feel about that?
Yep.
Think he takes on? You think he steps up this year? We need him to. Because you got to show your work. Yeah, you got to show why.
And
the Bills drafting the first round.
Yep.
One, and two, trade it up for you. It's like we did two things I didn't expect that draft. One, to trade up, and two for tight end. Yeah,
right after we paid Dawson Knox big money.
Right.
But here's the thing. I think part of this onus goes back to Joe Brady. He needs to find a way to use him better.
I agree. That's why I'm saying about Joe Brady's. Listen, I'm cool. It worked the first year. With everybody eats, and I'm okay with it even if he does it next year. But he has to, in my opinion, get the bigger guys involved a little bit more, even though it's an everybody eats system. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I want to see more. Like Shakir, it can be better. I feel get him more involved. Kincaid,
give him more targets.
Give him more targets. Exactly, and it's okay. Like I still think fine if you want to get. Dawson Knox a couple of targets again for whatever. You know what I mean? But get the playmakers more targets on this everybody eats is all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Let them make plays because those are not only that, Josh Allen and that whole comfortable, who am I going to who's there for when I need a big play to happen? And usually it's Shakir, right? But I need these guys targeted more. I need our playmakers to be more involved. Next year or this year, that is.
My take's a little bit different than that. I need him to change his route tree.
Well, that too.
Schemes. He needs to scheme him better to use his what he's good at. You know,
I'm with you on that. 100%.
I don't see many seam routes with him or deep crossers. That's where he's elite. Stop running him on hitches and short outs. That doesn't play into what he's great at.
Yep.
You know, let's use him for what he's good at. And that's my thing.
No, I'm with you. And you know what? That goes towards Keon Coleman too. Like I feel like Keon Coleman could be used a little bit differently too. And maybe that was a rookie thing, and they're easing him in. But I want to see more Keon Coleman in the red zone. I want to see more in a slot here and there. I'm not saying always in the slot, but
I want to see him run some more of the slants or the crossers, the catch and runs, because he has really good run after the catch ability.
Yeah, right, and I want to see that have a mismatch, get mismatches for him. Like that's what he does well, right? That's what he's a bigger receiver.
Get him on a smaller slot or a linebacker.
Exactly.
Or those type of things.
Exactly. Like you got to understand your players. I always say that too. Know your players' strengths and weaknesses and use them the right way. Use them to your advantage. That's all. You know what I mean? That's one thing I would say about Ken Dorsey. He didn't do that well. And I felt like Joe Brady, when he took over, did that much better.
That's what Dable did do. That's the one thing Dable did.
Exactly. Thank you. And you know what? I wasn't a huge fan of Dable, but give him that.
He was really good at knowing what his players were good at. And he put
absolutely. Like, it's a prime example? Isaiah McKenzie. Prime fucking example of knowing your players' strengths and weaknesses.
Yep.
He used Isaiah McKenzie exactly how you would use Isaiah McKenzie. Right? They'll use the speed, little pop passes here and there, right? Use them, once in a while go deep. Like they use his speed as the weapon.
Dable,
and it was perfect.
He wasn't great at schemes, but he knew how to use his players. And most of Dable's offense was option routes, guys. He trusted his players to be on the same page as Josh, and you have one of three things you can do on each route.
Yep.
Where Brady
I'm sorry.
But Brady schemes it so everyone's kind of running a designed route. I just need Brady now to take a little bit of Daboll and scheme it, but scheme them to what they're best at.
Exactly. Like for instance, even last year, like we kept talking and by the way, we have no idea why these players weren't. Like Hamler wasn't called up, and it was weird. Or if you're going to call up the other guy that they kept calling up, Virgil, right, who had speed, why aren't you? Okay, fine, you call him up. He has speed. Okay, why aren't you doing anything with him? That is with his strength. His strength is speed, right? Hamler, you sign him. Okay. I'm not saying you have to always use. They have to be always involved in the offense. But you have these guys on the roster for a reason.
Have a package of things you can do with that.
That's my point, right? Exactly.
If they're going to be game day active, like if you're calling someone up to reward them to give them a game check, fine. Right. If you're going to give them a game day jersey, have a package to do something with these guys.
Exactly. Use their strengths, and that's what I meant about Isaiah McKenzie, and that's what you mean about Brian Dable. He knew how to use player strengths to his advantage on offense. That's what you got. You didn't go in there fucking have Isaiah McKenzie do things that he wasn't good at.
Well, he did later on, but
for the most, but McKenzie, let's be real. He played his best football in Buffalo under Brian Dable. Yep. He had some good for a guy that was a nobody.
As wide receiver 4 was Isaiah McKenzie's perfect spot.
Yes, I never had a problem with him.
You can run pop passes. You can run, screen passes. You can run reverses. You can have him run crossers so he can run away from guys. Like the way Dable used them was perfect. But we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So, no, but it's a good one. Yeah. Jarek coming in. Well, how you doing, Jarek? Man, I appreciate you hopping on here. We have to start using Coleman in the slot, especially in red zone. We use him to box out certain defenders, and we rarely use him in the role unless it's in the red zone. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I hope I hope Joe Brady, like I said, it's one thing about Joe Brady. I like him. I just think he's still learning as he goes, and I hope he's also learning his talent, like his players.
Growth mindset, as McDonald likes to say.
Exactly. Well, that explains a lot about KK. Thank you.
I just don't think we're using him the way he was used in college, and I think that's a detriment to
No, and I agree, and I almost feel like if KK was somewhere else where they use tight ends better, I think you would see a lot better production from KK. In my opinion,
but Buffalo's never figured out how to use tight ends.
Yeah, but I will say this about KK: he has the injuries though would be anywhere he goes. He needs to
get stronger. He needs to get healthier.
Exactly. That has nothing. Right, and that has nothing to do with the team. That's just
Has
him
nothing to
needing-
do with how he's used. If you're not,
Right.
what they say, your best ability is availability, and he's not
Exactly.
always available.
Exactly. Cole Bishop. Bishop got to see the field in his rookie year with Buffalo and had some good levels of competitive play. And B made it publicly known not long after last season ended that the safety would be given more opportunities to make the next step at the pro level in his second season. What do you feel about Cole?
I like Bishop because the thing, I don't want Bishop to be our free safety. I want Bishop to be our strong safety. I want him to replace, Rapp. I want Bishop in either a free safety that we draft that's actually a center fielder ball hawk.
Yeah.
Or I want us to give Forrest a chance because he is a center fielder ball hawk. I do not want to see the Bishop Rapp combo because that's like two strong safeties. We have no true center fielder.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think going into, we'll see how the draft plays out, Mikey, and free agency's still kind of open a little bit, right? And I still believe the Buffalo Bills will sign a few guys that are remaining out there after the draft because we've done it every year. But I will say, as of now, the safety, like if I had concerns right now, the season will start, I would say safety again, which it was last year. And corner, we have to address the CB2.
What Jarek is saying right here in his next comment, ideal.
Amos,
Trey Amos and
absolutely.
Xavier Watt. You draft those two in the first and second round.
Yeah, you're good to go.
You've now secured our secondary because you have
you're good to go.
Tron and you have Benford, Amos as your CB2, Watt as your center fielder free safety.
Yeah, and you're good to go. I totally agree. But will the Bills see it that way?
They never see it the way I see it. I don't know. Ask you. I think it was Beck in here saying you're the bean whisperer the last 2 years. You figured out who we were going to draft.
I know. You know what? I haven't done a video yet. I'm leaning.
We're 3 weeks away, brother.
I
have
know.
not done a mock draft yet either. Next week,
you're right. You want to do what? All right, we'll do one next week.
Yeah.
We'll do one next week. By the way, Jarek, if you want to join us for the mock draft, it's always fun to have you on. Let me know.
I always love Jarek's insight.
Yeah, and we'll do a few, and we'll have Jarek on if Jarek's available next Friday night.
That'd be beautiful, Jarek. I would sign up for that right now. And then with our set, and then either in the third or fourth, then you get one of Caldwell or something like that to be that one tech.
All right, Jarek's joining us next week. It's official.
Nice.
All right, thanks, Jarek. I appreciate you.
Next, we talked about him already. We already talked about him.
We'll skip that. Ray Davis. Ray Davis had a good showing. And by the way,
with the cook piece,
yes, bro, you just took my words.
Sorry,
especially with the it is
Ray Davis. I'm with you on Ray Davis.
Yeah. Had a good show across limited action in his rookie season. As the Bills move forward, he figures to continue to see opportunities that would with his hybrid receiving back skill set and development could translate to his taking on a bigger role. And of course, we're not talking about the Cook situation, but especially in the Cook situation.
Because, we already know that that Johnson's going to be the third down back again. Josh loves him. He's a great pass blocker. Davis could be the first two, if we get off of Davis, or if we get off of Cook. So,
All right, Ed Oliver. The Bills might draft the future. The Bills might draft the future at the defensive tackle position next to Oliver on the line, which I think all of us are hoping for. Adding a powerful force like Kenneth Grant. Should the Bills do so, combined with similar pass rush forces in the defensive ends and linebackers groups, as well as aggressive play styles of new members of the defensive line like Micah Hoyt, Oliver could see an increased role again as a beneficiary. So I've been saying that for
an increased role because we don't have a reliable 3 tech behind him. We have Dwayne Carter who showed nothing last year.
No, I was disappointed
when he comes back after his suspension. Might give us a more reliable 3 tech behind him, but as Jarek's saying here, the Bill fans want Harmon. Harmon's more of a 3 tech than a 1 tech.
Yeah, give me Kenneth Grant.
If we draft Kenneth Grant, I'm game. That would actually help him because it's a big body who will wreak havoc that allow Oliver to have one-on-ones and just go out and try to get in the backfield and create havoc. That's ideal what we want for him. But we need that big body because I love Daquan, but Daquan's, on the back end. He's on the he's on the downside of his career. If we can get a Kenneth Grant and, use Daquan a little bit less and save him for later in the year, I'm good with that too.
I feel like Oliver's stuck in like the
molds. He just doesn't have that guy.
He's stuck in like our Dawkins situation, where Dawkins never had a guy next to him, right?
Yeah, well, and we're never the same guy next to him.
That's what I mean. Exactly. So that's my point. We're always like, and they're subpar, right? They're okay, right? They're serviceable, but they're not the guy we need to make him shine. And listen, this is your opportunity, right? If you can make it happen, this is the draft. I feel like you can do it.
The difference is Dawkins still found a way to shine even without that running mate.
I agree with that. I do, but how much better has Dawkins looked?
I mean, with
even when he has a guy next to him 2 straight years, exactly. Yeah. That's my point.
He's looked a lot better with those two guys next to him.
Much better. So, and imagine if we get Edwards' replacement, right? And because we have to in time, and that's why I'm hoping they do. And he's a young guy next to him that flourishes. Now your offensive line is really set, right? Now you're setting the tone, and now you have your center and SVP who's on his way. And now we're setting the tone for this young offensive line with Spencer Brown, Cyrus Torrance, SVP, whoever our left guard is in the future, and Deion Dawkins, who's still in his prime. That is shaping out to be really good if they do that. So
with Travis Clayton and a couple of those other ones, Tylen Grable, who are young, waiting in the wings guys that might be able to help. Vandermark's one that's that has a chance. As Deion ages out in a few years, we have some other guys. So that's how you do it. Travis, this guy here to Soma, due to sheer athleticism, size, and strength. As a former rugby player and his ability to block and truck guys downfield, there are multiple ways Clayton could be used this season on certain plays. I agree with that. He might be because who was it last year? I can't remember who was last year. Oh, Alec Anderson. But Clayton has the athletic ability to be that big third tight end.
True. You're right. Guy. Yep. Daquan Hardy, cornerback. The Bills are looking for answers at the corner spot across from Christian Benford. And while there's some strong likelihood they could find that answer in the short or long term by the way of the draft, free agency, or via trade, they might also look in-house. Hardy has some strong athletic abilities and positional versatility as well as experience outside in addition to slot duties. If the team rolls with Dane Jackson plus a depth player, Hardy could see an increased role. What do you think about Hardy?
I think Hardy has a chance. He was drafted to be a slot. He actually played better on the outside. Mm-hmm. The problem with Hardy is he's short. He's smaller.
Right. Yeah.
Harder to guard those big guys on the outside. I do believe we're going to draft, a corner.
I do too.
This year. So I think he has an uphill battle, but he could fall in the same molds as the Cam Lewis's and all those guys. Get on for special teams and do things and find a way to where he's a fill-in. I don't think Hardy's ever going to be a high-end cornerback.
Yep. I agree. All right, last up on this. Gregory Rousseau. Rousseau had a steady progression in his development year to year, but also has possessed breakout year potential ahead of each campaign as well. Fresh off an extension and the addition of Joey Bosa to line up the other side of attack, to attack the pocket together. This could be the year he takes it to the next level and takes on an increased role.
So here's the thing about Joey. Joey's different in his pass rush, game than we had with Vaughn on the other side. Vaughn was a lot of speed, so he'd go around. Bosa's more about collapsing the pocket, which pushes the quarterback, Groot's way. So Groot does the same thing. He claps the pocket. So if we get a Kenneth Grant or a big one tech that can help push the pocket in, you might see Groot actually get more of those sacks. That's the one thing. Bosa and Groot are very similar in the way they play the run really well. They collapse. They stay in their lanes.
Yeah.
They don't get out of their lanes with like wide rushes. which is ideal for the way we want to run our defense.
I will say it will be interesting to see them both on the field together.
I'm excited about it. I'm a big Joey Bosa fan, though.
I never hated Joey Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was dynamic when healthy and early in his career.
I think he's still dynamic when healthy. The problem is he's just not healthy all the time.
Right. So I think I will say the situation he's in, and at least as far as this defense goes, the way we use players and snap counts, it could benefit because of his injury history, where we get a good Joey Bosa, where he's also not overused. Right.
Does wonders for guys too. Did different medical staff, different.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, like
doing things.
I hope. Yeah, I hope. Isn't Clayton on the international? I think he is, right?
He is. Yes, he was. Okay. So he didn't count against us last year because he was on the practice squad under the international.
And this is the last thing, Mikey. By the way, last thing, and we'll get out of here. 3 players Buffalo Bills should consider trading up for in the 2025 NFL Draft. All right, here we go. First one, Jalen Walker, linebacker, Georgia.
Absolutely not. Why do we want another undersized half linebacker hybrid guy? We already have that in Hoyt. Why would we want that in Walker? Walker is an ideal 3-4 outside rush linebacker. Can do some drops, can rush the passer. He does not fit what Buffalo's trying to do. They're saying the dumbest thing I've heard.
Yeah. That it could be if they want to get rid of Milano, that could be.
I understand that type of linebacker, though.
I know. I agree. I would not be on board with that.
Hell no, I wouldn't want him either.
Morori, safety. This is, by the way, this is SI. This is SI's website.
Holy crap! No, he's more of a big slot. You know.
Jarek's on board with it. Hell no.
Strong safety. You know, us taking him is basically, Bishop 2.0. He's just more athletic than Bishop.
So far, SI is really not making it.
Part of either
Mikey or Jarek.
Do they watch
Here we go. Derek Carmen.
Again, a 3-tech. If we play him at 1, we're playing him out of position.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be mad if we drafted him? No, because we still need another 3-tech.
Right.
That can actually do something. But we should be playing him and putting him at 1-tech. Yes, give me Starks. Starks is a center fielder. I would absolutely take Starks over him. No, I want
that's it. That is it. That's all I got.
I'm not overly, and we shouldn't trade up for any of the 3, by the way.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
We're trading up for a Starks. We're trading up for Johnson out of Michigan, the corner. We're trading up for Kenneth Grant. That's who you're trading up for. Do
you think Grant slips a little bit because of his pro day? He didn't have the best pro day. You think maybe we get a little bit lucky?
I sure the hell hope so. But something tells me he ain't getting past Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh loves him.
You're right, Michigan guy. Yeah, man.
And they need defensive tackles.
Yeah, the Bills would have to make a move. You're right. I didn't even think about Harbaugh.
I don't see him getting past Harbaugh. I really don't.
Yeah. No, Michigan guy coached him up. Yep. Yeah. You're right. 100%.
I just don't see it happening. I would love for Grant to fall to us at 30. That'd be ideal.
Yep.
Yep. He's everything Buffalo's missing.
Absolutely. I'm with you. That would be the one player.
Move up, then we can move up for Trey Amos in the second.
Yeah. Yep.
Grab him at 30.
And by the way, we
grab Trey Amos later.
And we have 2-2, right? We have 2-2. So it's going to be interesting.
4s and 5s that you can use to move up in the second round.
If I'm being, I am really thinking about trading up in the first round. You have 2-2s, right? I'm just saying, if there's a way to do it, you have that in your back pocket. If you really want a player and you feel like he could be, and that player is going to, take it to the level you need, I say you make that move because you don't know if you're going to get that kind of player in the following draft or where you're going to be. You know what I mean? So if it's available and a team is willing to deal,
make the call. Go get your guy.
Exactly.
If your guy's there and he's head and shoulders above everybody else on your board, you might, if they're all in range and your guys, you have them all kind of graded the same, then you don't need to move up. But if you have a guy who's head and shoulders above everybody else on your board, you go up and get that guy. First
Right.
and second rounds, I want to see us moving up.
I
want to see us
ask,
get us, ideally for me, let's go get us Grant and let's go get us Amos in the first 2 rounds, even if we use our extra second, and then fill in the rest behind that with our late round picks.
Yeah. I tell you, it'd be interesting. Like, when we go live these 3 days for the draft, even though it's a position we don't really need, but I am so curious if they draft a running back. You know what I mean? Oh, man, because I'm going to tell you right now, if they draft a running back somewhat early, not early, but you know what I mean? Like
in
fourth round.
one of our 2 second round picks.
Well, not second round, but let's say because we don't have a third.
If you're let's say Henderson, it's going to have to be in the second.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, that would be nuts. I'll tell you, if they do that, it's over. It's 100% over. It's done with. But even a 4th round would be, I would still kind of be like, because you have your running backs.
Yeah, because we have our 3 that we
right. That's what I mean. Right. So what would be the sense?
4th round pick on that. That's someone who should be making a roster.
Yeah. Right. So that's what I mean. Like, I would. It's going to be very interesting, this draft. Just on that little side note, because that will tell you a lot what they're going to do.
I love Jarek's comments here. Yeah, Grant, Amos, Sanker, Watts, Phillips, Caldwell, West. All those guys are guys that we should be looking in the first 2 rounds.
I agree. I totally agree. I 100% agree. Listen, man, it's time. It's time to finally get this defense right. It's been, we're going in a year 9 with Sean McDermott, who's a defensive-minded head coach. We have yet to really get this defense right.
The defensive line right. We have not gotten the defensive line right.
Well, I'm talking about as a whole, right? As a whole, right? Where we're like
our
hey,
secondary,
boom.
So good for so long.
Just for so long, but we've always had line issues for forever. The defensive
line has been our bugaboo.
We've never had a closer. Right, we tried with Vaughn,
and Vaughn was for nine games until he got hurt because he was everything we paid for in those 9 games.
Yeah, woo. But we need, but you know what that was? That was not a desperate signing, but that was almost like fuck it, we can't find one in the draft. We're taking a swing. Let's do it. But now, for me, okay, you took your swing. It is what it is. Time to go through the draft and let's do it the right way.
If it plays out right, Groot, if we go out and get the guys we need to get on the interior, right? Groot takes the step, Bosa becomes Bosa again. Our line issues, with Hoyt behind him, and I don't know if AJ even
Solomon
makes this team.
could
honestly,
be better.
AJ may fall off. We may be AJ.
Well, you know what?
Traded in before.
I was just about to say that I would be all willing to deal AJ in at draft day. I mean, depending on what you're planning.
Maybe you bring him into camp and he's lost out to
that is true too. Somebody beat
Solomon and all these guys, and then we're going to take a D end in the draft at some point.
Yeah,
maybe he comes in and beats him out, and you move AJ at the end of camp before the season.
And you know what? And he still has, AJ Epinesa. He's still valuable to somebody.
Yeah, he still has value.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He still has value. Yeah. So somebody will see something in him, and we'll get something good in return.
Pick, it's like you'll get something for him.
Well, you also eliminate the contract. Yeah, and you also get a little bit back on the contract. So, all right. So guys, that's it for the show tonight, man. It was awesome. I had a great time with you, Mikey.
Yeah, it took us like an hour and a half before we even got to any of your talking points.
Because I knew the cook thing would drag on a little bit, but it's okay. That's all right. Let's get some real quick before we go. Thanks a bunch of time, and Mikey. Go Bills. Keep them up. Hey, appreciate you, Amy. And Jeffrey, excellent show. Worth paying for. I'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for the preview. Yeah, no problem, man. But yeah, so we'll be here every Friday moving forward because that's how my schedule is now. So every Friday at 9:00. Best thing to do is obviously like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll know when we post videos or go live. And we got some fun stuff, like I said, coming up this year. It's going to be more
draft time, brother.
Yeah, exactly. And next week, matter of fact, Jarek from Jan Sports is going to be joining us. We're going to do a live mock draft on here. We'll do a few actually, and we'll have fun with that. And yeah, that's it. Mike, any last words?
No, thank you guys. This is so much fun.
Yeah, man, appreciate you guys. All right, Bills Mafia, you guys rule. We're out of here.
Go Bills.
Peace. Go Bills.
Ah.